Hi everyone, it's Judy Long again, and today I'd like to talk with you about gratitude. And I know each one of us in our own personal lives finds much to be grateful for, but today I'd like to talk with you about something that's a little bit unique, and it's called a gratitude practice. So just like practicing scales on the piano, this is something you can practice every day in a particular way. And I will explain why in a moment. But first, I'd like to back up to talk about the way that our minds tend to notice when something's wrong. So I think it's very interesting that a lot of people will say, oh gosh, I'm kind of negative, I notice the bad things. And it's true, some of us are more negative than other ones of us. But the fact is that our minds are intended to be able to notice when something's wrong so that they can help us keep ourselves safe. Oh, I'm about to get hit by a car in traffic. I need to move quickly. I want to notice these kinds of things and not ignore them. So I always want to notice things that will keep me safe. But at the same time, it's been found that it's very healthy to notice positive things too. And the gratitude practice helps to train that. So let me go back again for a moment to this idea that we're noticing when things are dangerous. I just wanted to share with you a line by a friend of mine that's a neuroscientist, and I always like the way he put it. He explained this and said it this way. He said, our minds are like Velcro, very sticky, for things that are bad. And they're like Teflon, very slippery, for things that are good. So that's the way our minds keep us safe. But now we're going to talk about how can we keep ourselves safe and happy, which will be more about gratitude. So there's a big question of how do you train positive thoughts? And there are many ways, but the way I'm going to show you is requires very little effort, and it's very, very effective. So it's been studied to show that it increases positive thoughts. Here's how it works. What I'd like you to do at the end of your day is to think back about your day. What did you do an hour ago? What did you do 2 hours ago? So as you think back and it's nighttime, you might go, oh, half hour ago I brushed my teeth. 2 hours ago, I was watching a comedy on television. 3 hours ago, I was eating supper. 4 hours ago, I was sitting outside in the sunshine. So just thinking back on your day. And as you think back on your day, and don't go into too much detail or you'll never get to sleep, but think back on your day, I'd like you to think of 3 things. There may be more, but I'm just going to ask you to come up with 3 things that you're grateful for. And once you come up with 3 things, I would like you to write them down. Or if you have difficulty writing, see if your care partner can write them down for you. So you'd be writing down the day of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day it is, and then writing 1, 2, and 3, whatever your 3 things are. So let me give you some examples of kinds of things that people could choose. And let me say first, they can be very big things or very little things. They all count. They all work for this practice. But they do need to be very specific. So, for example, let's say if I'm grateful for my sister. It's nice that I'm grateful for my sister, but that's very general. And what this exercise asks of us is to think of something specific today. So I might have to think about it. I go, oh, I'm grateful for when my sister called me up today to tell me how happy she was that she was my sister. Or maybe I was happy when my sister came over to the house and brought me a bowl of soup for my lunch. I mean, it could be anything, but that's very specific. In the same way, you could think of something that is very general and small. You might say, oh, I like my warm showers, but can you be specific? Like, I really enjoyed my warm shower today. I enjoyed the feeling of the warm water hitting my shoulders. That may be what you're grateful for. Or you may be grateful if you have a cat or a dog. Maybe I'm remembering my dog, but I'm remembering when I pet my dog and the dog was sitting in my lap, if it's a little dog. Or I remember when I was petting my cat. And actually remember what it was like when you were doing that. I sometimes like to recall a young man when I was teaching him this practice, and I didn't give him any ideas, but I just said, what would you be grateful for? And he started doing something like this. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm remembering petting my cat this morning, and that's the cat's tail. I'm running my fingers up the cat's tail. So he was being very specific. So part 1 is to come up with 3 things. Part 2 is to be very specific about each one. And part 3, and this is the last part, I'd like you to write them down or to have your partner write them down. So again, you might write the day of the week, and then write number 1, petting the cat. Number 2, when my sister brought me a cup of soup. Number 3, the warm shower on my shoulders this morning. That's 3. So you're not writing a paragraph about each one, just a one-liner. When you're done, you're finished. You've done the whole practice. You've just succeeded. And now the only thing you need to do is go to sleep. But you've got nice memories in your mind instead of difficult ones, and you're on your way to bed for the night, which is great. The next day, you do the same thing again. Not until it's nighttime, not until it's time to go to sleep. You think back on your day, think of 3 more things. Write each one down very specifically, go to sleep. The next day, you do it again. So here's your homework. Oh, did I tell you there would be homework? There's homework. So here's your homework. I'd like you to try this out for 2 weeks. Every day for 2 weeks. That's 14 days. And then at the end of 14 days, you can keep doing it if you like, but at the end of 14 days, I'd like you to look back and just notice if your mind is beginning to notice positive things during the day, even without trying, a little more readily. So they say, and the neuroscientists tell us, that where we direct our attention becomes the inclination of the mind. So when you direct your attention toward things you're grateful for every single day, 3 specific things, your mind begins to incline toward positive things without even telling it to. It just begins to do it. And I'd like you to see if you notice that. So I wish you well in your practice. I encourage you to have fun with it. And if you have a partner you might do it with, I would still suggest writing it down yourself if you can. Let them write their 3 things down if they can. And then maybe at the end of the 2 weeks, reflect on that practice together, see what it's like. So thank you very much for your time today. I hope you enjoy your gratitude practice.